Ahoy, and welcome back to Leia's Library. Find yourself a cozy corner, get yourself something nice and cozy to drink, and let's get started. Today we will be looking at some of my favorite books that have one of my favorite tropes of all time in them, which is found family. I really like this trope. It is one of my absolute favorites. So if you also like found families, I would highly recommend these books. And if you also grew up in a household that didn't give you the sense of belonging that you needed in order to grow up into a fully functioning human adult, and now you're in therapy undoing 2 decades of trauma, you might like these books too. Let's get into it. Before we do though, I just must say that I put mascara on my lower eyelashes for the first time in a long time because I stopped doing it and I forgot why. But I remember now it's because my lower eyelashes are so long that when I put mascara on them, they just become spider legs, and it's a little disconcerting. Oh well. Oh, I should also mention why I'm doing this video in this time. It's because it's the holiday season, and it's when a lot of families get together. So if you're looking for that sort of homey family vibe to go along with that, or if you are unable to go see your family, then perhaps you can substitute it with these books. So I hope this is helpful. So now we're actually getting into it, and the first book on the list is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, which is a cozy contemporary fantasy. I am holding too many things. I've talked about this book a couple times, I think, already, so I'll try to keep it kind of brief. But in short, this is about a by-the-books middle-aged man named Linus Baker who works as a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth, and he just had a huge snowstorm where I live, so there's snowplows going so often. Anyway, so Linus does his job very by the books, very routinely. He goes to work and then he comes home to his cat and his records. But his life takes an unexpected twist when he is requested by extremely upper management to investigate an orphanage set on a remote island, and he is to determine whether its occupants, namely the Antichrist, are likely to bring about the end of days. So this book came so close to also being on the cozy book list that I did last week, which it absolutely is. It is so cozy and warm, and it deserves to be there, but I didn't want to talk about the same book 2 weeks in a row, so I decided to put it on this list because the family that Linus finds in Arthur and the orphans, it's just so perfect. This book is just so cozy and warm and delightfully gay. It's a perfect read for the cold winter season, or any time of year, really, but especially winter. And what I especially like about this book is that there is a romance between an older couple, so they're in their 40s to 50s, I think, which is not something that you often see, and I think, you know, people of all ages deserve to fall in love and have that be represented. So it's just like a very cute romance on top of a really good story, and then with this like found family that is so pure, and it's made up of a bunch of like little outsiders who will band together and find a home with each other, and isn't that adorable? Next one on the list is Nevermoor by Jessica Townsend, which is a which is a middle grade fantasy. I've talked about this book a lot already because it is a new favorite. I just read it this year. So if you are new here and would like to hear me talk more about it, I will link some other videos in the description where I talk more about it. And I will save any returning people the description. But I cannot express enough how absolutely lovely this book is. Little Morrigan, who has never known what it feels like to be loved and to be wanted, finally finds people who value her just as she is, and it's so incredibly heartwarming. I have a huge soft spot for younger protagonists who find loving parental figures when they've gone their whole life without any real parental love or validation. So this series just ticks all the right boxes, on top of it being just like an excellent book as well. Like the plot and the characters, everything is so whimsical and magical, and I love it so much. But then with this added bonus of there being this like beautiful, like kind of like father-daughter found family, and yeah, it's just, you love it so much. Next one I'm going to talk about is Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko, which is a YA fantasy. So this is about Tarisai, who is right here. Isn't this gorgeous? I love this cover so much. Anyway, so Tarisai is raised in solitude by this mysterious woman known only as the Lady. And even all while growing up, she rarely sees the Lady. She is mostly left by herself with some caretakers, but they're all very much like at a distance from her. So she grows up with very little anything, really. When Tarisai comes of age, the Lady places it's almost like a curse, but it's like a magical wish on her that Tarisai is compelled to complete. And the wish is that Tarisai will go to the capital and join the Crown Prince's council, and then in doing so, murder him. So the found family in this book is kind of similar to Nevermoor's in that Tarisai literally does not know what it's like to be loved, and what it's like to belong somewhere, and what it's like to have a family. So when she finds it in the council, it's almost overwhelming. Like, she almost doesn't know what to do with it at first, and then she's just like, she's trying so hard to fight this wish that's put upon her, but at the same time, fulfilling the wish and joining the council would mean she would be getting everything that she's missed out on for her whole life, so she's very torn. And like reading it, you're just so happy that she's found a home, which makes it all the more tragic that she's supposed to ruin it all. I really like the like family aspect in this book, where all the council members, they take everyone in the prince's council has to take these vows that kind of like bind them all together, in this like very, when I say that it sounds kind of bad, but it's like, it's very consensual. They choose to do this, and it's because they love each other, and they really do feel like family to each other. They refer to each other as their siblings. They live together. They spend almost every day, all day, every day together. And they just love each other, and it's really nice. It does make it a bit strange when some of them kind of start to view each other as romantic interests. But it's a YA book, so I guess we had to have romance in there somewhere. I do wish that all of the council members had been equally developed, so we could like feel that familial feeling a little bit more from each of them. But there are I think there are 11 council members, so that's a lot of people, and we've only got so many pages. So unfortunately some of them are kind of left a little bit to the wayside in the character development aspect, which is one of the few things I disliked about this book, or that I was a little bit disappointed by in this book, because I do really like it. But aside from that, it's a really great story, and it's a really great found family series, and yeah, I would highly recommend it. The last one on the list is Poison by Chris Whitting. I found a way to slip it into another video. Haha! This is a YA fantasy. So I've talked about this book quite a lot because it is one of my favorite books ever. So again, I'll link other videos where I talk about the plot and stuff a little bit more. But I'm just here to talk about the characters today, because what do you get when you mix a willful, wary teenager with a gruff merchant with a heart of gold and a literal ray of sunshine? You get my favorite found family. I love them so much. They're just these three complete strangers with very different personalities who happen to run into each other and somehow work incredibly well together, and they become the like missing piece in each other's lives that some of them didn't even realize they were missing. And I love how Poison sets out from this like rocky family situation to find her sister, and along the way she finds this like a fatherly figure who like really cares about her, and a new sister who is the best thing to happen to anyone. If you could bottle sunshine and make a person out of it, that would be Peppercorn. And she works as the perfect foil to the like realistic to the point of being downright grim Poison. I just love them so much. Everyone needs a peppercorn in their life. Yeah. I guess that's all I have to say about it, but I probably could go on longer, but I'll stop it there for this time. And those are all the books on the list for today. Let me know what your favorite found family books are down in the comments. I would love to hear them. And if you'd like to find me elsewhere, you could find me on Instagram as Leia Like the Princess. And you can also find my little embroidery and art store over there called Moonlight Cat Creations, or you can go directly to its website at moonlightcatcreations.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, stay cozy.